Hello everybody and welcome to the third episode of the Dwarf Fortress tutorial. In this one, I'm going to be explaining some of the things that you need to do to get your dwarves kind of up on their feet and surviving in this very strange, very harsh, very dangerous world that they seem to have gotten themselves into with you as their leader. Now, in this episode we'll be explaining where to get them to sleep, where to get food, how to build basically your basic shelter, and maybe even how to survive your forced migration wave, if we get to that in this video. It just depends on when they come. So, first thing we're going to do is, as we explained in the last video, we're going to cut down some trees, and we're going to gather some plants. First one for wood, the second one for, just plant matter, food, and maybe even seeds if we should get it. I'll also be explaining some of the nuances of farms and when and why they cannot be put in some places and when and why they can be put in others. They have some little tricky little details about them that kind of make them weird. So the first thing we're going to do is, as I explained in the last video, we're going to hit D for designations, T for chop down trees, and we're going to select, not going to select a lot, but we're going to select enough to get our woodcutter, keep our woodcutter busy for a little while. Same with a herbalist. Just so we can keep them busy while we start mining out where we're going to have our dwarves living. Now then, since we're already in the designations menu, no need to really leave it, so we're going to go to D for mine. And I'm going to start digging into over here. Now, one thing I need to explain about farms is they have to be on a type of soil to be planted. Now, this can be changed and they can be put on stone if you can put a layer of mud over it. Now, you might be asking, how do you do that? That requires water. When water rushes over a surface, it leaves behind mud. Not always, but usually it does. Although, you can sometimes have it not. And just to explain this, even though we are on soil, clay is technically considered a type of soil, which is what we're digging into now. I will at least show mud being put over it, just to show you how it's done. Now, this gets a little bit more tricky as you get lower and lower into the soil layers, and you want maybe a farm really deep down, so that if you ever lock up your fortress, you can just, have your dwarves just farm down there and not have to be on the surface, but still. Now, the second thing we're going to do while we're in here, that big area being the farm, the little two wide hallways being the hallways, we're going to make some, bedrooms. Why? Because dwarves like bedrooms. Now, you could have all your dwarves clustered up together, but that doesn't make them happy. In fact, that is the exact opposite of what it does. Dwarves do not like to be cramped up together. And depending on how happy you want to make them, you can make it a 2x2, or you can make it a 2x2, or a 1x4, or however big you want to make it. It just depends on how you want to indulge your dwarves. For this, we'll just be making a 2x3, just to save time, and just so that if we do get it, that way when we do get to it, I can explain some of the things that might make them a little happier. And there we go, we got 4 little bedrooms. And then we're going to have a little hallway leading to them. And we're going to have a couple more little bedrooms. Now we're going to have 8, but that's just because of, and we're going to put a little path leading into each one. And this is going to serve as the doorway, and we're going to let the dwarves dig into them. Now, we won't start, we won't just let them. No, actually we won't. I don't want them to dig out the farm just yet. I want the dwarves to mainly focus on that. So now that we unpaused, our little miner dwarves are going to go over there and dig. Little woodcutter dwarf is going to go over there and start cutting down trees, and our herbalist is going to start just picking plants. What they do. Now, you might notice we have a few dwarves who aren't doing anything. These are the idlers that you can see up in the top corner, right above the hotkeys menu. Now, they won't be doing anything because their job or their profession isn't in use right now. Let's go see what they have. This one he's our engraver, mason. We don't have stone yet, so he can't do anything. He's a gem cutter, stone carve. He can't do anything. We don't have any of that yet. This guy's a farmer, and well, he'll have a job here in a minute, but not quite right yet. So it's kind of sad for him. So yeah, they're going to go dig that out. They're actually doing that really quick. Now, you're also going to set up a third thing. In the last the last tutorial, I explained stockpiles. And this one, we're going to set up a massive stockpile. It's going to serve as sort of a universal one, just to kind of hold everything, like I talked about last time. So we're going to put that. We're going to put that right here, and we'll also expand it out a little bit, like right there. It's going to be a bit big, but it's going to be necessary. We've got a lot of stuff. We put 3 little entrances right there. So when the dwarves get finished digging that out, they actually moved on to that before the bedrooms. I don't know quite. Dwarves kind of do what they want to do when they want to do it. They don't have any set schedule. And for some reason, there's blood over here. There's spattering of buzzard blood. So our dog's been beating up buzzards that are apparently flying around. Yeah, there's the buzzards way up here in the air. They're pretty high up. So our dog's been chewing on those every time they swoop down. And there's a dead buzzard right there. They've become miners now. The miners will dig through. This is clay, right? Yeah, it's clay. Quicker than they will stone. That's kind of why this is going a little bit faster than usual. But still. Now, once they get done with this, and once we get all the bedrooms set up, we will probably start. Once we get all the stuff dug out and I can start setting it up, I'll probably leave this unpaused so that they can start digging down, getting to stone, getting to whatever might be down there to cause us issues for me to show off later. So this might take them a minute, so I'm probably going to pause right real quick just to let them finish this up, or I might speed it up. Who knows? We'll see. Either way, the little dwarvies are just going to be mining there. We're going to have our other guys over here. Now, because we're waiting, actually, I won't skip this. We'll use this opportunity to do a few other things. Now, while we're waiting, and we can see our one little dwarf over there. He's fishing. We might want to actually set up. We might want to set up a few zones, and we'll set up a zone right here that we're going to use as a pen and pasture. As we explained in the last video, this is where animals who have to go out to just basically eat go to. So that's where they're going to be. And we'll set up another one on this little area right here. This little pond. We'll put it as a pit / pond. And yeah, everything there should be fine. We'll also set it for fishing and a water source. That way, all the dwarves, if they need water, will go over here first, and all the dwarves who are fishermen, as the custom thing that was made for us, the lazy noob one, would go here first, and all that fun jazz. Now we're gonna put B for buildings, workshop, W for workshops, and we're gonna make a Carpenters Workshop, which is C. We're gonna build it right here. Our carpenter's he's cut down a fair bit of trees. He's done a lot. I'll give him that much. So we're gonna let him build that. Yeah, he's building that right real quick. Now we're not building it inside yet because we really don't have the room. And we're gonna go to Q and we're gonna add a few new tasks. We're gonna have him building beds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 bed for each dwarf. That way we can put them in the rooms. And I'll show you how to set each bedroom to a specific dwarf, so they won't just sleep in whichever one they want, and they'll get a happier boost for owning something. So there's blood all over that. Now then, they've dug out the stockpile room, but if we were to make the stockpile right now, all our dwarves would go to it because they all have hauling labors enabled. So we're going to fix that. We're going to go back to the lazy noob pack. We're going to go to utilities, and we're going to find dwarf therapist. Why? I'll show you here in a second. Well, I have 1 male and 6 females. Jesus Christ, this man is in paradise. Anyway, Dwarf Therapist shows you all the jobs your dwarves have. It shows our 2 female mining dwarves right here. The one mining dwarf is a lot better than the other one, oddly enough. Our Carpenters Workshop, they have all these. They all will recover wounded and feed patients. It's just kind of like a hospitality dwarves gives. And then here at the very end, you have animal hauling, furniture hauling, refuse hauling, food hauling, burial, item hauling, wood hauling, and stone hauling. Now this is the crux of the issue, because the dwarves with this labor enabled, when a stockpile is set up, will start moving stuff into it. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it can be if you want them to do something else. So instead of having them grouped by sex, we're going to group them by profession. Now we don't want our 2 miners or our woodcutter to be doing this, but the siege engineer, who I guess is the equivalent of our, yeah, he's a fisher too, so that's kind of why. But siege engineer is the highest for whatever reason. We're going to remove all his laborers for that, so that he will not haul. Now that's not really the person we want to do. The people we want to do is the woodcutter right here, and the miners right here. The green ones will remove all the laborers for those below them. So now our miners and our woodcutters will not haul things. Now our mason, our farmer, our craftsman, and our siege engineer / fisher will, and that's who we need. The carpenter we need to make beds, and the miners we need to dig stuff out with. So we're going to hit commit changes, and now we can go set that up with no fear that our people will not do their jobs. So we're going to go to P for stockpiles, and we're going to go to C for custom stockpiles, and then T for custom settings. Now we're going to use the arrow keys to go down, and use E to enable all the ones we want in this pile. Now we're going to want animals, food, furniture, and siege ammunition. We're not going to want corpses, refuse, or stone, because those really aren't good things to have here. Stone can just lie wherever it wants for now. We're going to put ammo, coins, basically everything down this list. I missed gems. I'm stupid. And from that we're going to hit enter in this one corner. We go up to this other one, hit enter here. And we're going to remove these up here that got made out here with the X key, and then enter. And now all our dwarves, oh, they're fighting that damned buzzards. But it's a good thing we're getting the food in, because that's what they're really after. Yeah, dogs are kind of fighting that. Uh-oh. And this one dog's blinking green. Let's go to V. And then G. No. Z. Her left body is cut open. Her lower body is dented. Her lower body is bruised. This dog has gotten the shit beat out of her. Man, buzzards are kind of bastards, aren't they? And this one's not really been hurt. Z. It's V and then Z to check whatever's selected. And that dog, I don't know if that dog's gonna live. He's pretty badly injured. So it all depends. And now I think our miners are getting done with that over there. So we're going to open up this path over here for them to start digging out. And as you can see, the dwarves who do have the hauling labors enabled are taking all the stuff into stockpile. Food, which is in the barrels, wood, beds, all of it. All of it's going to be taken inside, which is what we wanted. Ooh, I think more fighting's going on over here. There's lots of dead buzzards. I will say that. Buzzard mutilated corpse. And that would be a good time to check out the announcements. No, not the announcements, but the reports. A dog, it shows all the fighting that goes on. So let's see, the war dog is fighting. The buzzard attacks the stray war dog, but she jumps away. The stray war dog bites the buzzard in the left foot, tearing apart the fat. Weird. The stray war dog shakes the buzzard around by the left foot. The severed part flies away in the air. The left foot is ripped away and remains in the stray war dog's grip. So this war dog is ripping off buzzard limbs. He's doing pretty good. And this is why we chose war dogs over the regular dogs, because the war dogs can fight better. And as you can see, buzzards, while not necessarily being the enemy that I thought we would have, aka badgers, it still is what we needed. these buzzards would be attacking our dwarves if it wasn't for the war dogs. Now, obviously, they're not gonna be able to fight off everything forever, but for now, while we're still setting up and we're getting everything inside, they can protect the food, and that's what they're sticking around for. They're sticking around the wagon because that's where they're told to be at. Now, the miners are finishing digging that out. We got the bedrooms. So while they're digging that out, I'm going to show you how to set the bedrooms up. And from here, we need to go to B for buildings, and now that we have beds built, we can actually go down and go to beds. We can place them wherever we want. We'll place it right here, right in the middle. Place one bed here, one bed here, one bed here, and basically one bed in each room. Now you can make a big room and just throw all the beds in there and tell your dwarves, just sleep wherever. And they'll do it, but they won't be happy. And that's not good. That's not good at all. So now that the dwarves who have the hauling labors enabled will go over there, put the beds down, and the beds are already built, they just haven't been placed. That's why the building menu is kind of weird, because the beds are built. You're not building the beds. You're kind of just placing them. So it's a bit weird in all, but whatever works, right? So the dwarves are finishing digging that out. And what's this over here? This is clay cavern, and this is a silt wall. Same kind of thing. Silt is a type of sand, basically. And over there is yellow sand, and so that's normal. So I'm going to show you how to build farms right real quick while they're placing the stockpiles and the beds and all that. From here, we go to B for buildings, and then we're going to go down a page, and then we're going to go find farm plots. Where the fuck are they? Hold on. They're somewhere. There it is. It's on the first page. It got moved to the first page. It's farm plots. The quick key is P. So it's B for buildings, and then P for farm plots. Now, let's just put it on this wall real quick. It says it's blocked, and there's no mud/soil for farm, and mud is left by water. Farm plot needs that sort of stuff. By default, if you just hit enter right now, it'll make a 1 square farm plot. That's not what we need. U, N, K, and H, with those keys, we can resize it to be as big as we want. So we'll make a farm plot right there, about that size, leaving the edges clear so that they don't have to walk on the farm all the time. Put it right there, and then we're going to put another one right beside it. Why? Because I like to have a big farm. That's why I got so many seeds. And now because we're doing that, I'm going to actually go back into here, take our farmer skills, this guy right here, the only male, the male's the farmer. Surprising. Unsurprising. Set all his stuff to that, so all he'll go to do is go to farm. He's going to set these up. That's all he's going to do. He's not going to haul stuff. He's not going to do anything with hauling. He's just going to take the seeds and plant them. And brew and whatever else he's got enabled. But that's it for now. See, he's going to go over here and he's going to start setting up the farms. They're blinking right now because they're not set up. Once he gets those set up, I'll show you what to do with those. And we're going to put some more beds in these rooms because they've been made now. Or at least one has. Yeah, that's the only one. I think just about everything has been taken from this, and our miners have stopped working because there's nothing left to do, so let's fix that. We will set them... Now, we're not going to put our workshops and other things up on this floor. We're actually going to dig down a few just because the workshops make noise, and putting that too close to the bedrooms will wake up the dwarves. So, we're going to go to J for downward stairway. Then I for up and down, and then we'll put a few floors down. It has started raining. Very good. Now the one farm plot has stopped blinking, mainly because, well, it's already set up, and he's still setting up the other one. I guess that cat right there likes him. That's the only reason it's sticking around. Cats tend to adopt dwarves. Which makes the dwarves happy, mind you, but still. Hey, and we've struck stone. We've struck limonite. Let's go to. We've struck colanite, limonite, colanite, rock salt, silt, and all that fun stuff. That's how we've struck stone. So now that we've struck stone, and there's another stone down here, colanite, yeah, so we've already struck that. Now no, that's where we've struck it. Right here we've struck salt, rock salt, and limonite, so there's that. So let's actually but D for designations, I for up and down stairways, and we'll go down one more, just because I want to see what colanite's good for. Can't quite remember right offhand, and then we'll build a little hallway going out, just to give them something to do. We had F1 to go back to the wagon, and we're going to look, there's our farm set up, and we're going to hit Q, and we're going to move over, well that one's still in construction, never mind. And hit Q, and we're going to, in this menu, tell our farmer what we want planted during each season, spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Even though we're underground, it still kind of follows by a seasonal thing, because temperatures do change, they do fluctuate, and certain things can't be planted during certain times. So right now it's in spring, A for spring. We're going to go down and plant plump helmets. Now you can change this to whatever you want, whatever is good for you once you find out what it is. But for me, I'm going to put just plump helmets on this one. So we're going to hit B for summer, go to plump helmets, C for autumn, plump helmets, D for winter, plump helmets. So in that form, all that will be planted all year round is plump helmets, since they have struck marcasite down here. That's a really red stone. Let's see, we're going to get K, go over it, and we're going to see it has no uses. It's just a regular old stone. I don't know if it's magma safe or if it doesn't absorb water. I don't know quite much about this one. I know a lot about just about every other stone that you can think of. We struck borax. That sounds kind of deadly. Alright, we're going to pause real quick. And now that we're down here, we're going to build some workshops. A little bit away from our dwarves, just to keep them from wanting to kill themselves because they hear clanging all night long while they try to sleep. So we're going to go to D for dig, and we're going to set these up in a similar fashion to the way we set up bedrooms, actually. I'm going to make little 3x3 rooms because that's almost always the size that workshops are in. Mainly the reason I'm doing this is to save time so I don't have to dig out all these areas that aren't being designated to be digged. I'm going to set up a couple 3x3 rooms. Now there's a reason for this. Two reasons. One, I don't want to have to dig up everything, even though it looks like I'm trying to. I don't want to have to dig up everything, and because there are situations in the future that we will get in, that having your dwarves unable to leave a certain area, should something go wrong during the creation process, it would be a good idea to be able to wall them in so that they don't go stark raving mad and try to kill everyone else in your fort. Now you might be wondering, what? Why would my dwarf ever try to kill everybody? Well, there are certain situations that your dwarves will just go batshit crazy, and it's not pretty. So this kind of saves us the trouble, and then we can just wall them in and hope they starve to death in a timely fashion. Now that doesn't make any sense now, but it will in the future. We'll also make a few more, because I think we're going to be building a few more workshops, to be fair. We have one idler right now. That's pretty good. We only have one person who's not doing anything, and I bet that's probably the person we said to not even have any jobs, to be honest, and to just move stuff. So now that our dwarves have that, I have no idea where they're going. Probably to get a drink. Is this farm plot done? Yes, this farm plot is done. This one we're going to do a little bit different. In spring, we're going to plant plump helmets, but in summer, we're going to plant quarry bushes. And in autumn, we're going to plant cave wheat. And in winter, we're going to plant dimple cups, just to have a little bit more variety in the food we have, but still have the majority in plump helmets, because plump helmets are king. Literally, plump helmets, to me, are quite possibly the best at anything. Now while I'm thinking of it, I'm actually going to put a second staircase right here. So and then we're gonna dig over to it so that there's two entrances down here into the workshops. The noise isn't really gonna travel any farther, so we don't have much to worry about. So I'm also gonna cut that off so that they won't worry about digging to it, because if they can't reach it, they won't start on it, but it will not remove the designation. Now, if they can reach something and they can't do it, it will cancel the designation. Like if they start digging a wall and they feel it and it's like, this is a bit wet, or this is scalding hot and I think I just lost my hand, then they'll stop digging in it because they're too scared to finish it off, which is a good thing. Which is a very good thing. And dwarves can dig upwards, mind you. They struck limonite, gypsum, some kind of yellow material, and that's not gold, mind you. Don't worry about it, it's not gold. We also have to dig that out so that there's actually more than one way to get down there. And the guy started planting the bushes, like right here. That is the kind of like the bushes. That's kind of like the representation of the farm material. Now that we got the beds set up, now that we've got the farm set up, now that we've got our dwarves digging out workshops and we have our stockpile over there, I'm going to show you how to set up your bedrooms. Now this is a little bit, it's not complicated, but it can get irritating when you have a lot of dwarves and a lot of bedrooms. But it helps keep them happy. So even though it might be a bit irritating, it might take a while to do, it's worth it in the long run. At least I think so. If you don't think so, that's your prerogative. But mine is, it's worth it. So we're going to hit Q, and we're going to move over each bed, and we're going to hit R for make bedroom. We can use the plus and minus key to make these bigger or smaller. Your dwarves don't like overlapping rooms, so we're going to make it just its room. The walls don't count, mind you. They kind of share the walls, so that doesn't matter to them as much. Then we're going to hit Enter. And we're going to hit A for assigned bed, and we're going to make this one our expedition leaders. There it goes. It's an assigned bed. Its current odor is Sarvesh Kaganushilda, our expedition leader. And we're going to go to each one. We're going to make this a bedroom. Assigned bed, our miner. R, make it smaller, assigned bed, woodcutter. This gets tedious, but I think it's worth it, because they like owning things. Now this might just be a little bedroom built in dirt, but it will keep them happy. We're not going to make it bigger, we're going to make it smaller. This is going to be our little fisher. I'm going to have to rename him as Fisher later, because calling him a sea engineer is kind of stupid. He doesn't do that. Now then, now on the topic of Dwarven Happiness, we're going to pause it again right real quick. We're going to hit V, and move over our Mason, and then go to Z. And then we can hit Enter for Thoughts and Preferences, and we're going to see quite what he thinks. Cole Nucleblick has been quite content lately. She slept without a proper room recently. We just solved that. She was caught in the rain recently. That's kind of her own problem. She's complained of the lack of chairs lately. Now that's a problem we can get onto. They're not really bitching about food yet. Actually, let's check a different one. He's been happy lately. She talked with a friend. She was caught in the rain, and she's complained about the lack of chairs. Okay, so the lack of chairs is a widespread, rampant issue that we need to solve. And we will. So while our dwarves dig that out, I'm going to be thinking of another place to build a few things. I'm going to resume this. We've got a couple more idlers, so we're going to dig out a room that we can put some chairs in. We're going to make this area a meeting hall. What's a meeting hall, you might ask? A meeting hall is where all your dwarves go when they're not doing anything. And right now our dwarves go to the wagon when they're not doing anything. And we want to change that so that they'll be inside. This will also change the area the dogs are in, but that's fine because we'll be destroying the wagon, bringing everything in it out, so it won't matter either way. So actually we need to make a doorway into this, right? That's what a smart person would do. So we'll set that to be dug out. I think our dwarves are still digging these out, and we're going to have quite a bit of stone. So let's actually utilize that. We're going to go to B for buildings, W for workshops, and we are going to set up a mason's workshop. We're going to put it right here. We're going to build it out of colonite because that's the closest material. On pause, We should have a dwarf who was idling before. Not idle. No, we went up to 3. Now we're to 2. I am confused. We should have a dwarf coming down here to do this. Cough, cough. We should have a dwarf coming down to do this. Whatever. I don't know where he is or what he's doing, but he's probably one of these sleeping. Here, now he's the woodcutter. Butcher. What the fuck is he? Oh, there he is. He snuck around me. So we're going to have him build that, and we're going to go to Q, and we're going to add him a few tasks. We're going to build chairs. Why? Because our dwarves won't stop bitching about them. We're also going to build tables. We're going to build tables first. So we're going to build, not an armor stand. We're going to go to A for new construction, and then T for construct rock tables. Alright, we're going to build 6 of these. And then we're going to build a chair. Just a chair or a throne. Chairs and thrones are the same thing. We're going to set thrones on repeat. Why? Because dwarves like chairs. And we're going to have many of them. So we're going to hit F1, go back up here again. And then we're going to see that they're digging this out at a pretty fair rate. They're actually digging pretty fast. These dwarves are getting pretty good at mining. They're not quite as slow as before, and they're digging pretty goddamn fast. So, now I said I would explain to you kind of what mud, not what it's useful for, but what it can, or how to do it. And I think I actually will show you how it can be useful, and I'll make a farm plot kind of deeper underground on stone, since there's none way up here. So they've dug out all that. They've got all that dug. So we're going to go to B for buildings, and then T for table, and we're going to place a table kind of right here in the middle. Oh, he's already made 2. He's fast. We'll put 2 tables. I'm gonna have a line of tables kind of in the middle and chairs on both sides. Kind of like a big grand meeting table for all my little dwarves. And he's making red tables because that's the kind of material we find down there. So we're gonna have a very red fortress. Now the colors are always gonna change depending on what kind of materials you have at hand. So don't think that those are the only kind of things you're going to have. Materials and everything will change drastically in your fort compared to mine. I'm actually thinking about setting up another hallway right here, just to get a little bit more stone. I like having extra stone, so we'll have this right here, so that all this stuff will connect. We can't build straight down from there, but that's fine. So just to give our little miner dwarf something to do while we're planning out our next procedure. So far we've dug out workshops. Not a bad feat in this one. We've dug out workshops. We've got a farm set up, bedrooms. We're starting on a meeting hall. We've got a little area set up inside. We've got a stockpile. I think we're doing pretty well for ourselves so far, and our dwarves have struck blue jade. We might be able to get our one gem cutter dwarf up here who's not doing a damn thing to actually do something. I mean, yeah, so we're going to go back to Q, hit R for set this table as a dining hall. Actually, let me do that again. Q, go over this one, make it a dining hall. And we're going to make this whole area right here. Now, on this menu, what we didn't have when we did stuff like this with the beds, we can just make this a meeting hall. Currently, it is set to N for no. We're going to set that to E. We're going to hit H and set it to Y for yes. It has no owner, but that's fine. So all that area right there is going to be a meeting hall. And to get it to really get our dwarves and animals to actually abide by that, we're going to have to go to Q and then X for remove building with this wagon. It'll basically, let's see what else is in this wagon. Actually, we can't because we set it to be destroyed. That's fine. I'm cool with that. Whatever works. Now, stuff that's outside, like these dead buzzards. Dead things generate... What is this? The barrel? Why didn't they bring this in? I don't know. See, now our dogs have moved over here. They moved over here quick. I don't think they like being outside in the rain. Well, regardless. Now that they've made that, yeah, so like I was saying, oh, it's like tetrahedrite. That's a ore of copper. I know that by heart because I have the one fort who's 1,000 years old that all it has is fucking copper. I have more tetrahedrite in that fort than I can shake a stick at. I mean that quite literally. I have a mountain of copper and but that's besides. And yeah, they're getting those barrels now. Now, dead bodies decompose. When they're in a confined environment, they will release miasma, which is a poisonous gas. But since they're outside, exposed to the open air directly above them, above is the main issue, they will not produce miasma. Now if we hit K, we can see this is a clay cavern 4. It's inside, it's dark, it's subterranean. If we go out here, it's outside, it's light, and it's above ground. Now you can have inside, light, and whatever. These can be mixed and matched, but as long as it's outside, it will not produce miasma. It doesn't matter if light is shining on it or not. So, now you could always change this and have areas inside your fort that are exposed to the outside to make them technically outside, and then build like ventilation shafts to offshoot the miasma to help your fort. But for now, because we don't really need those bodies, buzzard bodies really don't have much meat on them. They're mostly just bones and feathers. Now we could butcher them, but there's not really much need to. Now as you can see, there's little purple things being kind of thrown around by our cats. I think as I explained in the last episode, those are the remains of vermin. Now these will piss our dwarves off eventually, but let's not let it get that far. Let's build a room over here. It's basically going to be a kind of stockpile room, but for remains. We're going to build it right here. And we're going to build a windy little hallway into it. Why? So that the miasma, when the doors open for this room, will not get out when the doors are open to it. So we're going to build that, and then that. Yeah, we'll have one door there, then one door there. Now then, I think our little mason dwarf downstairs might have started on some more stuff, so let's go to B for buildings, and then T for tables. And yes, he's got quite a few tables set up. I think he started on some chairs too, so we'll put some chairs here, on each side. We might have more chairs than we have room for tables so far. We do, so we'll set that up. Now these are little tables with chairs on each side. It should make our dwarves a little bit more happy. We'll also tell our little mason guy down here to C for cancel that, and we're going to build a few more tables, and then we'll put chairs on repeat again. And our dwarves have dug out a lot of random material down here. Let's go check on what everything they have with the K key. So there's colinite, it's that kind of useless little stone. Rock salt, no real use. Hit enter to check what it is. Bitmus coal. Make coal from bitmus coal. Who would have guessed? Now that's something we can use as a fuel source later on when we're making ovens to either heat up or glass, depending on which we go into, maybe even both. And this over here is tetrahedrite. It's an ore of silver and an ore of copper. 20% of the time when we smelt this, we'll get silver, and we'll always get copper. Not bad, not bad. Copper is a very heavy metal. It makes good blunt weapons. Copper, on the other hand, copper's just copper. If you don't know what copper is by now, you don't really play many games. Like, just think of it as RuneScape. Copper's not really the best, but it's good. It's good enough. Now, obviously, there's going to be better, but still. Now, then, let's go check on the Z menu and to see everything we've got. We have 5 seeds left. We have 60 drinks. We have some meat. We have some plants. Now, we might want to get a little bit more fish. We might also want to start getting some drinks too. Now, fish, even though we have a fisherman who usually goes over here, cannot be eaten raw, like most things can. If it's meat, your dwarves will go over there and just chew on it. Now, with fish, it's a little bit different. You have to clean the fish before you're allowed to really eat it. So we're going to need to go back down here now that we got them setting up on the refuse pile. We're going to do the B for buildings, the W for workshops, and we're going to go down and we're going to find the fisherman's one. No, not the farmer, but the fishery. And we're going to set that up right here, and we're going to make it out of colonite. Now you don't have to make tools like knives and hammers for your mason, because that is kind of thought to be made when you set up the workshops. So our little fisher dwarf, yes, any dwarf with a fishing labor will come down here and build that. I think there he is. No, that guy's coming to pick up a table from that guy. Actually, we'll set up another table right here, and here, and here, here, and a few more chairs. I think he made one out of a different material. Wow, he's getting fancy. Oh well. We have one dwarf who's not really doing anything. I'm not quite sure who that is. Well, whatever. Now that we've got our stuff underground, we're going to go back over to this Carpenter's Workshop, and we're going to hit X, and we're going to remove it. And then we're going to go back down here. We're going to go to B for buildings, W for workshops, and we're going to set up another Carpenter's Workshop down here, so that when we need him, he can just do whatever it is that he does best down here. Yeah, sounds good. I think our herbalist really hasn't picked up much, and there's a lot of remains of stuff outside. Now, we're not going to set our dwarves to pick up anything outside. That'd be a little extreme for now. I think now that we've got a lot of this stuff set up, well, they dug that out fast. So yeah, we're going to go to P for stockpiles, R for remains, and then set this area over here to be that. It's basically a refuse stockpile. Dwarves with a hauling labor enabled will come and pick up the trash and whatever else and throw it in this pile. Hopefully they don't grab the buzzards, but they will grab the little purple remains that are just kind of infesting all the little areas inside. Yeah, see, that one picked it up. He's going to take it over here and he's going to put it down. Well, vermin remain does not really produce, how you say, miasma. But bigger remains that might get into our fort should we have to fight anything in here will. Now, on the topic of fighting things, now that we've got our dwarves just doing a bunch of stuff right now, I think we're going to set up a little, not an extreme defense, not by any stretch of the imagination, but we will set up a little bit of defenses right now. Now, we only have one entrance into the main part of our fort where the dwarves are, so it's not really that hard to defend. So we're going to go to D for designations, and then I'm going to go to H for channel. I'm about to tell you why. We're going to channel this area out right here. Yep, right there. Actually, we'll remove that. Just that right there. You might be saying why? Well, we're going to kind of defend ourselves with a little bit of a moat. Now we're going to go down, hit H for channel, D for designations, H for channel again, and this is digging down with little ramps leading upwards. Have that right there. Dangerous terrain. What is this? We've hit water? Huh. There's water down there. Apparently, part of the area that we've landed on has an aquifer. The other part of it is not an aquifer. So when we dug through that, let's go to D for dig. Yeah, that area right there that we just narrowly avoided when we made that little downward area is an aquifer. This area has an aquifer on it. I had forgotten about that. Apparently this area up in this corner doesn't have it, and this one in this bottom corner does. Huh, well that's actually might be a little helpful for us, now that I think about it. Okay, so now that we've got that dug out, it's a little bit of a fall. We're going to go to B for buildings, and we're going to make a bridge over it. Kind of like a drawbridge, really. And we're going to go down, I think it's on the second page. It's bridge right here. Its quick key is G. And we're going to do it kind of in the same fashion that we did the farms. We're going to make it a little path right here. And then we're going to set with W, A, D, X, and S. We hit the D key so it raises back in towards our fort. Right there. and we'll build it out of colonite. Now our mason is the one who's going to have to come up here and build this. Now someone with an architecture labor enabled will have to do it. So let's go check right real quick who has that. This one, this guy. Our mason. So he'll come up here, he'll start building it, and when we raise this drawbridge, it'll basically seal off our fort. And anyone who might be charging towards it will fall into the moat, or if they're on it, they'll either get flipped back into the fort or drop down to the moat, depending on where they're at. Now, this isn't really a surefire way to keep everything out of it. Now, you can set up traps. Traps will basically hit anything dangerous that triggers them on the way inside. Your animals and your dwarves will know where they are. Wild animals not so much, so you might accidentally kill a few of those in the meantime, but still. Now, because we're just starting, we don't really have many materials that we could ever build it out of. I wonder if any dwarves got stuck out here. He got stuck out here. A poor guy. He's been quite content lately. She was woken up by noise while sleeping lately. She slept in a good bedroom recently. She complained of the lack of chairs. She was caught in the rain. She's complained of the lack of dining tables. She's been satisfied at work, though. I guess that's a good thing. And because she's stuck out there, and so that means I kind of want to get this done really quickly, I'm going to go back down here. I'm going to go to the Mason's Workshop, and I would cancel everything he has to do. Is he one of these sleeping? Let's go to V. Let's check. Yes, he is. God damn it. That should be the only job he'll have when he wakes up. And that one dwarf out there won't die while he's taking a little nap. She won't be happy, and she's sleeping out there, so when she gets in here, she's going to be a little bit pissed off. I think she's thirsty too. The blue down arrow means she's thirsty, so... Wait a minute, is that my mason going down here? Construct... Oh, he's going to pick up the colonite, so yeah, it's good. So he should be getting that built. So that should be all going well. Now, to set up the ability for the bridge to be raised, we need to build mechanisms. We need to build basically machine parts to build a lever and build the system to hook the lever to the bridge. So we're going to go to B for buildings, W for workshops, and then we're going to go down to the bottom of this to T for mechanics workshop. We're going to set this up. I don't know who is our mechanics. We're going to hit F1, go back up to here, and then I'm going to go to dwarf therapist right real quick just to check who is our siege engineer. Our mechanic is our fucking mason. He's got a little bit too much to do. This is kind of why I don't like some of the presets, because it sets your dwarves up to have a few too many jobs. So we're going to remove that. And our siege engineer, our fisherman down here, we're going to set him to be a mechanic. Why? Because that kind of goes hand in hand with being a siege engineer. So we're going to have our mason do that. And we have a lot of extra tables that have not been set up. Not beds, but tables. I can see them over there in the stockpile room. We're going to build a few more chairs too. I'm going to put all of these here. And who are you? Why are you not working? He's our farmer. Why he's not working? Well, he doesn't have much to do. And because he's also a brewer, we're going to change that. Now that we're looking at it, we're going to change it right now. Here we go, here's our migrants. I was talking about this in the beginning. We were about to fight our first migrant wave. And when I say fight, that's just a little joke, because they are going to come in here and start eating all our food and everything else. I mean it. They are going to come in here and they're going to start eating stuff. They're going to want bedrooms. They're going to be kind of hard to deal with. So we're going to go back while we're paused at this menu. Back to dwarf therapist. We're going to read dwarves. Holy shit! We're going to sort by migration wave. We just got 6 new dwarves. We got Dodok, Mr. Bear, Iton, and we got a lot. And we're going to have to look through all of these. Okay, this guy. He's a cook, he's a soaper, and he's a record keeper. This guy right here is a High Master Leather Worker. Ugh. High Master Leather Worker. That's actually pretty good. High Master Leather Worker, Skilled Brewer, Armor User, Observer. He might be a good military man, even though he is the Leather Worker too. This guy probably has more stuff than can be read, so let's minimize that. This guy is a proficient furnace operator, and that's nice. We've got some coal downstairs, and we've also got some coal, so we might be able to set up a furnace, a very cheap furnace, and start actually outputting copper. Well, this guy's an accomplished cheese maker. Now this is kind of the situation you get in with migrants. Some of them have just some useless ass skills, but he does have some fighting skills and some leading skills, so he might actually be a better military man. Rimtar is a persuader, a pump operator, and an animal dissector. Not too fancy-dancy all around. He's a presser and a potter. That's nice. That's nice. So we're going to have to start setting up more bedrooms. Woo! More bedrooms. We're actually probably going to have to start getting a lot more food. Let's see. We've got about 60 plants, 30 meat, but we are getting low on drinks. And as I was about to say, with our farmer, now that we have migrants, we're really going to need it. We're going to need more alcohol. So we're going to go to B for buildings, W for workshops, and then we're going to go down to the bottom. We're going to make a steel, because this is going to get really necessary really quickly. And because our farmer isn't working right now, this would be a good thing for him to do. We're going to build that here. We're also going to go to B for buildings, W for workshops, and we're going to set up a... Hold on, let me find it. A butcher's workshop. And we're going to place this right over here. We're going to make that out of covernite as well. And we're going to set up a brewer's workshop to make alcohol for our dwarves. And we're going to set up a butcher's workshop so that we can start slaughtering animals. Now that sounds terrible, I realize, but it can't be helped. And because our miners are kind of fiddling around a little bit, we're going to go to D for dig. We're going to dig. No, we're going to go to J. We're going to make that I. And we're going to start building 2 layers of bedrooms under this one. And while I'm thinking about it, we will go down to the Carpenters Workshop right here with a Q and put beds on repeat. We need beds right now. We're going to unpause. The migrants should be coming over here. They should be able to get into the fort once that bridge is made, which is being made right now. The weather has cleared. The weather has cleared. And there we go. The bridge is made. And because that's still being said to be channeled, I will go to D for designations, X, and we're going to remove that. So we should have the migrants coming in here. We'll keep an eye on them for when they do get here. Actually, let's also check. We'll go to I for zones. We're going to go over here. And we're going to set in pasture and all that. And one of the migrants, as you can see, that's now on this list, is a stray blue peacock. They have brought a pet blue peacock to the fort as a pet. Now, we're going to put this over in this pen and pasture just to keep it from mucking about in the fort and to keep it fed. And as you can see, actually, we'll pause this real quick. There's a gray thing in our stockpile room. This is a swarm of flies. Flies piss your dwarves off, and they're a type of vermin that cannot be killed by cats. Now, this is an issue of building so close to the surface. Flies will bug your farms and your stockpiles. They won't bother them too much when they're on the stockpiles, but they can make your crops wither. Now this is an issue. Now, it's not one that we can solve right now, but it is one that can become a problem later on. Anyway, let's go back and start digging out some of these bedrooms. Yes, right here. We'll dig these out for our new little dwarvy buddies. I say them as if we know them yet. They might be completely useless, but the one is a furnace operator, which we will be using. And one of them, I think a couple of them would be good for a military, which we will probably get into in the next episode. But for now, all they're here to do is to eat our food. Sad, but necessary. So let's use the mouse. I like building bedrooms with the mouse better, because for me it's faster. For you, it can be either way. For me, this is much faster. Mainly just because I know the shapes that we're going to be using. Set that up. We're going to set up just a couple layers of bedrooms. This is a little bit more than we need for now, but it will let us have room to expand. And we've got a lot of people there in the meeting hall. We have a lot of people over there right now. Now this is a good and a bad thing, because we have more people to do more work. Now that we have a lot of people going to set up this meeting hall, we didn't have as many people here before, so the workload to bring all the tables and chairs here where we didn't have many people was kind of split. I think now that we have our Fisher, actually, he's still over here. Is he alright? He's been quite content. She complained of thirst. She slept on rocks. Yeah, she's just not doing too well. I don't know why she's doing that. Let's go back down here to the Mechanics Workshop. And because she's out there, let's just go to the Dwarf Therapist and give... Is there any other people who are skilled with mechanical stuff? This guy's a pump operator, so we'll make him a mechanic. He doesn't really have much going for him. Let's set him up to be a mechanic, and he should come down here eventually and set that up. Have those bedrooms being dug out, and we think we can build a bed or two. Yeah, we already have a few beds. So we're going to have to start setting up bedrooms for these new people. Yay. So we will set up once these, and our minor dwarves are pretty skilled by now, so they're digging out just this regular old sand and clay pretty quick. It's a sandy clay wall, so we'll build beds in these. I think that might be all we might be able to do for this video. And in this video I've showed you how to set up farms, how to set up bedrooms, how to set up a meeting hall, how to set up a little area for your workshops. We've expanded a little bit more on the items we've learned in the last video. If you didn't watch that before this, you will be a little confused, I guarantee it. You won't quite know what all these buttons do, and you probably won't get along with some of the stuff that I've said as easily. Now this isn't quite my fault, but if you have any questions or you want to know anything, put it below in the comments, and I will be sure to get on it in the next video. Now while I'm talking about this in the next video, we will be talking about the military. Setting up a little bit of a military so that we can go out and use them to kill animals outside for our butcher and to protect us should anything foul occur. Is that good? I think it's good. Is it bad? It can never be bad to have a military. Now it could go wrong should somebody in our military go mad, because he'll be well trained and he'll probably kill a lot of people in the process, but that's not something I think we ever have to worry about. So in this video we've done quite a lot. We've got a migration wave, we've looked at them in the Dwarf Therapist, we figured out all their jobs. We won't really be able to do anything with them yet, but they're still there, and we have the option to do with them what we can when we can. Now we have a lot of them idling around here. Let's see right real quick what all they're doing, what all they're thinking. Calm, content, satisfied at work, admire to find table. They like the tables here. That's good. The migrants like our tables. They might stick around. Of course they'll stick around. They have nowhere else to go. So we have the mechanic going down there. And in the next video I promise I will show you how to set up a farm on stone. I wasn't really able to get to that because a lot happened in this video. A lot has really happened in this video. We've set up a refuse area, we've set up a meeting hall, bedrooms, farms, workshop area. We've gotten a lot of stone. We've set up a little way to defend ourselves with a bridge, which we haven't completed yet, but it's still good to have, just in case. We've set up quite a little productive little fort, and as you can see, even though we have a lot of people who are idling, we still have a lot of people who are moving, who are working, who are doing things. Like down here. So, I hope everybody enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something. If you didn't, I'm sorry. If you did, leave a like, comment, do something to show your support. I don't really mind. I just like to know that this has helped someone. This has been helpful to you. If it has been, I'm very glad and I have done my job. And I will see you guys in the next video where we will be doing the military, setting up the bridge, and doing many other things that might just come up at the time. Have fun, everybody.